Hey guys, hope everyone's doing great out there today. So in today's video, what I wanted to do is explain to you guys a few different ways that you can make your LB7 injectors last longer. So for those of you who might be new to the channel, this here is my 2004 LB7 Duramax. I've had it going on just shy of a year now. I really enjoyed it, doing some modifications and different things to it, and wanted to share with you in my research some different ways that you can make your LB7 injectors last a little bit longer. Whether it's you've already replaced them or you don't have a clue of what kind of mileage is on them and you just want to make sure that they're in tip-top shape. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into it. So I'm going to give you guys a few easy, cheap ways and then some more expensive add-on options, just in case you guys want to go that extra mile to make sure that they're taken care of. Inevitably, they will fail. It's just the nature of it, but hopefully this video will help you out some. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop the hood so we can look under there and I can explain a little bit to you. So let me explain to you about the injectors on the LB7 and why they're such a pain. First of all, injectors for diesel engines are just expensive in general, especially if you're getting good quality, which if you do have to replace your injectors, highly recommend getting some good quality ones. I mean, injectors can run you almost as much as a gasoline engine would. But what really stinks about these LB7s is that they put them under the valves. So you have to take the valves off in order to get to the injectors. So you've got the expense of the injectors, and then you've also got a very high labor bill in taking those off. And then you better hope that they're done right whenever they're done, because if you put it all back together and you didn't do it right, guess what? You got to take it back apart. So if you're going to do the injectors, either do your research on how to do it right or take it to a mechanic that you know is going to do it right. But anyways, let's talk about those ways of improving the lifespan of those injectors. The first, most obvious, easy way to take care of them is to get some good quality fuel. And when I say good quality fuel, what I'm talking about are stations that you know are regularly and heavily used. You know, one thing that really hurts these is having water in the diesel. And you know, you have the water and fuel display on your dashboard, so you know you can come right over here, drain the water out of the bottom of your fuel housing here of the filter. So you can do that yourself, and that's one thing that will help. So you certainly want to be doing that. So you want a high volume station because you know you're getting fresh diesel fuel. And if you can, try to stick to some top tier fuels. That's what I personally like. The top tier fuel stations, and I'm just going to name a few that are in my area, like Shell, Conoco, you know, no well-known name brands. I run a lot of Casey's General Store fuel here, but that's because we have a lot of them around here, and I know the fuel stays fresh. So some good fresh fuel and keeping water out of your fuel is a good way to do it. Another very important thing is to change out your fuel filter. Change those things out to the book, guys. You want to stay on top of that. You don't want to let those sit in there and just keep collecting dirt and crud and stuff like that, because that is ultimately going to get through to your injectors at some point. And once it starts fouling up those injectors, you're going to really start having problems. So I personally like just OEM parts. So I would go with an AC Delco. I have not had to change the fuel filter on this guy yet, but I will probably end up going with a AC Delco fuel filter, just what came on it from the factory. But I know a lot of guys put on those adapters to run cat filters, which I think the cat filters actually filter out even a bit more than what these AC Delcos will. So definitely nothing wrong with doing that either. So those are a few easy ways right there. Another thing that you can do is run some sort of additive in your fuel. And I'm talking just an additive that you would literally just add to your gas tank back here. So I'm just gonna name one fuel additive that I've heard a lot of people really talking good things about. I've not personally run any. I probably will, maybe do a future video on it. But Diesel Clean, I've read lots of people that use that, you know, people that have run diesel for years and they really like Diesel Clean. So I've heard nothing but good about it, especially whenever it comes to these LB7s. So might be worthwhile picking up some of that. My final recommendation for this video goes right back once again into the fuel, and that is to pick up a lift pump. These trucks from the factory did not come with a lift pump. They're at a little bit of a disadvantage there. So a lift pump does exactly what it sounds like. It pumps fuel to your engine. And as a byproduct of that, it also has a fuel filter on it and it also has a water separator on it. So you're separating out that water that I was talking about draining out from here earlier, and you're also filtering it, which I believe, once again, it filters to a better specification than what the regular fuel filter on here does. Now, if I were going to put a lift pump on, I'm probably going to run a Fast 165, or you might get away with a 95 on here, but Fast and AirDog both make some great systems for these trucks. Pretty easy to hook up and set up. They just basically bolt on somewhere under the bed back here. It's kind of your pick. There's different configurations. Back here to the fuel tank, you run some fuel lines up here, and it's really not a terrible job. A little bit costly, but still cheaper than having to tear down your engine to put some injectors in, by far. Well guys, those are my few tips that I have for you to extend the lifespan of your LB7 injectors, and that really goes for injectors on any diesel rig that you might have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a few links down below to some of the products that I talked about today that you can purchase on Amazon, and those links do help support the channel monetarily, helps us continue the build on this LB7 truck here, as well as the 2014 High Country that we have here. This one's a gasser, this one's a diesel, so it is certainly appreciated if you guys use those links. And guys, I may have missed some too. Leave your recommendations down below if you have some recommendations on how to extend the life of those LB7 injectors. Thanks for checking out the video, guys, and until next time, take care.